Harry loses everything. Finally, the court defeat that has happened recently leaves Prince Harry facing a shocking reality. And have you ever fought a battle for years only to lose at the very end?
It's Harry. I don't even want to call him a fraud yet. Seems to be like a fraud, but we need answers. We need to demand transparency, accountability. This is not us being bullies, Harry. This is us demanding to understand where the funds are going.
I think this is a case of Harry living in a fantasy. He wants something to be real so badly. He wants to be as important as his brother is.
Harry, we know, was furious.
Mary, I wasn't ready to jump straight to calling him a fraud just yet. Sure, things are looking suspicious, like something's not quite right, but we can't make wild accusations without solid answers. What we really need is full transparency. We need to hold them accountable. This isn't about trying to tear anyone down or playing the blame game, Harry. It's about demanding the truth. The public deserves to know exactly where the funds are going. Is this person profiting in some way from veterans? Those who have already sacrificed so much? If that's not the case, then we need clear, undeniable proof that no money is being made off the backs of people who served the country. Show us the numbers, show us the paperwork, let us see the truth laid out openly. This entire situation is massive. Just take a moment to reflect on everything William has accomplished, and then consider how this was supposed to be the new dawn for the royal family.
Because he's a spoiled man-child, okay? And thus begins this long legal battle that would stretch over 4 years.
He's making money off the back of veterans. If he's not, there should be full disclosure that he is not. Show us that he's not profiting. Guys, this is a big deal.
He made a choice. He knew what the consequences were. And he has to now live with that. And now the courts have backed up everything that they said would happen. Again and again and again.
Look at what William's been able to do, and yet there was got to be the kind of the new breath of fresh air in the royal family, and they just threw it away for money that they're not even getting.
This is the best use of that fund? Is he nuts? If this is true, this is a reckoning that he's about to face. And honestly, between this and the African parks, which is legit a problem that he is denying, and don't get me started on all the other Santa Bella issues he's faced, this is not good for Mr. Oh, I love to go do my charity. How can we trust this man or give this man any money when we have no idea where the funds?
A fresh start filled with hope and goodwill. But now, it feels like that promise has been completely tossed aside for money, and not even money that's reaching the intended cause. Seriously, is this the best way to use those funds? It's hard to believe. If everything we're hearing is accurate, he's on the edge of a major reckoning. And honestly, when you put this side by side with everything else happening, it feels like a storm is brewing, and it's about to hit hard. African conservation efforts, an undeniable and urgent issue, remain a challenge that he seems to be turning a blind eye to. And that's just scratching the surface. When it comes to the ongoing controversies surrounding Santa Bella, the list of complications keeps growing, raising serious questions about leadership and transparency.
The judge effectively stated that Harry's sense of grievance was not enough to overturn the decision. That sentence alone speaks volumes, because many royal observers believe that the court was sending a message. Being unhappy with an outcome does not mean that the outcome was unlawful.
Prince Harry has lost a legal challenge with the UK government over his security entitlements following his decision to step down from royal duty.
It begs the question, how can anyone place their trust in this man or feel comfortable donating money when there's so much uncertainty about where those funds are actually ending up? The doubts only multiply when you hear him passionately talk about wanting to expand his charity work. But talk is cheap if accountability is missing. People want to see results, concrete proof that resources are being used responsibly. Now, shifting gears to the 2025 Invictus Games in Canada, which reportedly came with a staggering price tag of $63.2 million, all for just 400 participants. Some say that's a hard pill to swallow. Was this event really worth that level of spending? These kinds of questions aren't just financial critiques. They speak to broader concerns about priorities, efficiency, and whether the investment truly serves those who need it most. Let's take a step back to the turning point of it all, where the story took a sharp and unexpected turn. After years of intense legal battles, accompanied by the mounting cost of legal fees and mounting fears for his family's safety, the courts finally delivered a verdict that Harry had anxiously been awaiting, but not hoping for. His attempt to challenge the UK police protection decision was shut down, outright dismissed. The judge's words, especially, left a mark. The ruling wasn't just a cold legal statement. It recognized the depth of Harry's feelings.
But British institutions continued to treat him according to one simple fact. He chose to step away. And stepping away came with consequences, which he knew about. Because whether people agree with that or not, that consistently has been the government's position. He made a choice. He knew what the consequences were.
Urging that the 2025 Invictus Games in Canada cost $63.2 million for only 543 participants. So that translates to a cost of $118,000 per veteran competitor. What?
According to the judge, his arguments were compelling, emotional, and heartfelt. It was clear Harry was deeply affected, that he wrestled with this decision on a very personal level. Yet, in the end, the law was clear, and the challenge did not succeed. But then came the harsh reality. Merely feeling mistreated doesn't carry any legal weight. You can almost hear the heavy sound of the door clicking shut on his hopes. British institutions made it crystal clear. They're committed to treating him according to one undeniable, straightforward fact. And here's the pivotal detail that speaks volumes. When the ruling was finally issued, Harry wasn't even present to hear it. After years of relentless effort, showing up, fighting tooth and nail, and insisting that Britain still held a place in his heart, he was nowhere to be found when the final verdict dropped. But here's the kicker. The lost appeal itself isn't the real shocking story. The real headline grabber is what his name became entangled with during that battle, and the figures about to surface are going to grab everyone's attention. The claim? The 2025 Invictus Games, set to take place in Canada, reportedly came with a staggering price tag of $63.2 million. Now, break that down. With just 543 participants, the raw math reveals a jaw-dropping number.
Would there be so many redactions? Why would anything need to be honestly redacted? This is a charity form. Look at that whole page redacted around the budget. Like, excuse me? What? Huh? How does he allowed to get away with this? Does Prince Harry use the Invictus Games as a tax write-off? And is he making money off the back of veterans? If he's not, there should be full disclosure that he is not. Show us that he's not profiting. Guys, this is a big deal, and I'm going to be on it. We're going to keep our finger on the pulse of this because we need this to get out there. Veteran government funds are being used for this man to throw the Invictus Game.
An astonishing $118,000 spent for every single veteran competitor. And that's just the beginning of a financial story that's about to explode into public view. The comment sections exploded with outrage. People just couldn't stop talking about it. Imagine this, a staggering $63 million raised, with around 530 competitors vying for the top spot. When you break it down, the numbers become almost unbelievable. Over $100,000 per veteran. That's a jaw-dropping statistic, one that sent shockwaves across social media and news outlets alike. But then came the accusations, a controversy that escalated quickly and didn't let up. It all reached a boiling point, especially during that fateful trip to Australia. This was where things really got complicated. We learned that she was wearing outfits designed to show compassion for sick and terminally ill children, clothes meant to convey empathy. But then she turned around and featured those very outfits on a website, as if they were items for sale. It begged the question, would you like to buy my sick kid outfit?
You leave a job, the benefits from that job are not going to follow you because maybe you're one of the founders of the job, whatever. It's just not going to follow you. And that is the reality of life, which Harry just does not have a clue about. Now, officials determined that because Harry was no longer a working royal family member, he would not automatically receive the same level of security protection whenever he visited the United Kingdom.
Why can't Harry get his own funding? Why is he relying on all these countries to do it for him? And that's the big problem, as a lot of these people are, and Harry is coming under fire for shocking financial expenditures by his beloved just months after he and his wife revamped their philanthropic foundation, was shamed for its exorbitant spending and paltry contributions. Radar can reveal the ensuing scandal could permanently torpedo his chances of returning to the royal fold.
The optics were unsettling, to say the least. And if that wasn't enough, the trip included a visit to the survivors and families affected by the tragic Bondi Beach incident. There, a special outfit was on display again, marketed in a way that left many viewers uncomfortable. The whole situation felt like an emotional tightrope walk between genuine charity and questionable exploitation. And then there's Harry. There's something about him that seems beyond anyone's control, how the public perceives him. You can't manipulate that, no matter how carefully you try. When you dive into the polls that track both Harry and Meghan's popularity, the data tells a compelling story all on its own. I spend a lot of time poring over those numbers because they reveal the real, raw sentiment beneath the headlines. The public's view fluctuates, but certain patterns are unmistakable, and they often don't favor them. This unfiltered feedback is a crucial piece of the puzzle, painting a portrait far more complex than any staged moment or carefully curated image could ever capture.
$115,000, $118,000 per participant? This is the best use of that fund? Is he nuts? If this is true, this is a reckoning that he's about to face. And honestly, between this and the African parks, which is legit problem that he is denying, and don't get me started on all the other Santa Bella issues he's faced, this is not good for Mr. Oh, I love to go do my charity. How can we trust this man or give this man any money when we have no idea where the funds? Nearly half the funding, $30 million, came from Canadian taxpayers. Now we're back to Invictus, with investigators now calling for more transparency how the money is used. Investigator Rachel Maxwell, we're showing that Instagram account, demands that the Canadian government make them explain this.
I have never witnessed a brand fall from grace so rapidly and so dramatically. Behind closed doors, the Duke and Duchess remain united, standing side by side as they always have. To the public eye, this pair, who once seemed larger than life, now appear as if they are fighting against a world that just can't seem to see their true worth. They present themselves as a dazzling duo, basking in the spotlight and reaping the rewards that come with their celebrity status. But the reality of the situation is far less glamorous. This once magnetic Sussex charm, the very thing that was supposed to set them apart and ignite excitement, has instead fizzled out like a disappointing flop. Think of it like one of those highly anticipated Netflix shows that promised blockbuster success, but ended up as one of the platform's most forgotten failures, much like the ill-fated Polo series. What's truly disheartening isn't just the public's reaction. It's what this says about us as a nation and how we perceive Prince Harry. People initially believed in what they represented. There was so much hope and optimism that they would become the fresh, invigorating force the royal family desperately needed.
Really came to a head, as I said in the monologue, when they went to Australia and we found out that she was wearing outfits to see sick and dying children and then putting them on a website. Would you like to buy my sick kid outfit? I mean, and then she went to see the victims of the Bondi Beach massacre and wore a special outfit there that you could buy. People hate that.
Yo, yeah. I mean, but the Queen was a paradigm of you give, you serve. That was the point. And then she just looks like she's money grubbing.
I think there's something else that Harry can't control, which is what do people think about him. And if you look at the polls on Harry and Meghan, and I spend a lot of my time looking at the polls, well, I've never seen a brand collapse this hard, this quickly.
When you look at Prince William's steady and admired path, you can't help but wonder what could have been. We were promised a new breath of fresh air, a transformation that would bring modernity and relatability to the monarchy. Instead, it feels like all of that potential has been quietly discarded, left behind in a cloud of unmet expectations and lost opportunity. Meghan Markle finds herself trapped in a tangled web of frustration, desperately chasing after fortunes that, quite frankly, haven't even materialized. The once glamorous allure surrounding the Sussexes has taken a sharp nosedive on the world stage, leaving Meghan haunted by the sharp decline in their popularity. But this resilient Duchess is not one to sit back and accept defeat. Instead, she's hatched a bold plan to keep her profile high by increasing her solo appearances, all while minimizing her time in the spotlight alongside Harry. It's a strategy driven by a deep desire to reclaim her shining moment.
Nevertheless, privately, the Duke and Duchess are still very much together. For this preening pair of preposterous posers, it's them against a cruel world that fails to appreciate just how wonderful they truly are. But as a dazzling double act raking in the revenue that comes with fabulous fame, forget it. They're not happening. The Sussex allure that was meant to make our heroes remarkably rich has flopped like Netflix's disastrous dud Polo.
Angry, I'm just disappointed. That's what we are as a nation when it comes to Prince Harry, because we had so much faith in them. You look at what William's been able to do, and yet there was got to be the new breath of fresh air in the royal family, and they just threw it away for money that they're not even getting.
Alone. What's truly astonishing is that Meghan has convinced herself that Harry is somehow the root cause of their financial struggles. In her mind, it's his presence that's holding them back, an idea that many find difficult to comprehend. But here's a reminder that can't be ignored. Harry is not just any figure. He is the son of the reigning king, the direct heir to an incredible and centuries-old monarchy. He carries with him a legacy steeped in tradition, history, and global fascination. He is, without question, the royal personality that commands the world's attention. Meanwhile, Meghan, with her relatively modest beginnings as a TV actress and a background in modest cable dramas, simply lacks the regal pedigree to compete on this grand stage. This stark contrast is hard to ignore and even harder to overcome. The reality is, while Meghan may have captivated a niche audience, it's Harry who remains the true royal icon, the undeniable draw for millions worldwide. And as for the small circle who once hung on Meghan's every word, their interest has faded, highlighting just how steep the road ahead might be for the Duchess.
The non-profit organization in African parks have been accused of, SA and terrible things, torture in the Republic of the Congo. The indigenous rights charity Survival International alleged this week that wrongdoing by the parks was ongoing in the country and called on Prince Harry to resign as a member of the organization's board of directors. African Parks handles the long-term management of 24 protected natural areas in 13 of African countries in partnership with local governments. And the group was accused back in January 2024, which we reported on here, of funding these rangers who had committed human rights abuse, including things I can't even read here, against the Baka people local to Odzala Kokuka National Park, which is under African Parks management.
Imagine a dreary scene, a group of Swiss commuters waiting at a bus stop, bleary-eyed and restless, their attention half captured by an outdoor speech railing against the dangers of social media. It feels like a disconnect, a boring lecture lost on people eager to get on with their day. That's the setting toward the end of last year for Harry and Meghan's narrative, a story increasingly out of sync with the world. Both have seen their popularity dive dramatically by 40 points, an incredible drop for a couple who were once global darlings. In America, the news was even harsher. A recent poll revealed that Harry is now less popular than Prince Andrew, someone long viewed with skepticism. For a moment, consider the gravity of that. A prince with a tarnished legacy has outshined a younger royal once admired for his charm and modern outlook.
Ultimately, Superman went back. And I think that's exactly what Harry is going to do as well. With Meghan or without her. But then it becomes, what about the children? And that is where the explosion of reality really will begin. Because I can imagine right now in Montecito, things are not going well. Now that we know also about Frogmore Cottage being renovated to the pre-Harry and Meghan renovations, which suggests to me they are trying to erase Harry and Meghan's footprint.
As a brand, the public persona they've built, it's a devastating blow. Meghan, according to insiders, is deeply troubled by their rapid fall from grace in the global eye. The pressure is mounting, and it's clear she's desperate to find a way back to relevance. Her solution? more solo appearances, carefully avoiding any joint outings with Harry. She's reportedly come to believe that Harry is the source, or at least a big part, of their financial struggles and public backlash. In her mind, distancing herself might pave the way for a fresh start, healthier business opportunities, and a chance to rebuild her reputation independently.
Meghan Markle is haunted by the Sussexes' slippery slide into global unpopularity. But the difficult Duchess believes she has the solution: to make more solo appearances and be seen with hapless Harry as little as possible. Incredibly, her ladyship is reported to have convinced herself that the dim Duke is the source of all their financial problems. Meghan simply doesn't get it. Harry is the King's son, an heir to the British throne, and he will always be the one people want to see. He is the real deal, a princely product of centuries of history, and a scion of the most celebrated family in the world, the British royal family. Meghan's meagre background as a TV glamour girl and a 2-bit cable drama actress can't compete.
It's a strategy based on the idea that less association with Harry equals a chance to heal her image. But here's the catch, the glaring flaw in this approach. The very name recognition that opened doors for Meghan in the first place comes from one undeniable fact. Harry isn't just any man. He is the son of a king, born into centuries of royal tradition, history, and public fascination. Strip away that connection, and suddenly the spotlight dims. Without the royal backdrop, Meghan's platform becomes significantly smaller, her pull less magnetic. It's a delicate balance, trying to redefine oneself while remaining tied to a legacy that commands global attention. Will breaking away from Harry elevate her, or will it leave her grappling in the shadows? This tangled web of identity, fame, and strategy sets the stage for what's to come next in their saga.
Embarrassingly, the tiny throng who listened to her worthy but dreary al fresco oratory about the evils of social media included a bored bunch of Swiss commuters waiting for a bus. Oh dear.
It's the end of last year. Both Harry and Meghan are down 40 points. We've just had a poll in America which shows he's less popular now than Prince Andrew in America.
Right.
So as a brand,
And
I
just
think...
anecdotally, I've been bouncing this latest thing off people.
The reality Meghan has been chasing might just fade away when she's standing on her own. Harry, as a direct heir to the British throne, inevitably commands an attention and spotlight that Meghan never experienced during her pre-royal life. The stark difference between the two worlds became clear early on, exposing just how challenging it can be to step out alone in this unique spotlight. Take, for instance, that moment in Switzerland when Meghan delivered her speech about the dangers of online harm. Instead of the powerful message traveling far and wide, what captured headlines was something far more subtle yet painful. A nearly empty space in front of her. Instead of an eager, engaged audience,
it's the most disgusting thing you could have, because she would be absolutely nothing, well, she's still not much, but she should be absolutely nothing without Harry. I mean, he'd got a wedding for her, he's given her masses of jewellery, very expensive, some from his mother, so they're even doubly expensive. Everything she wants.
There were just a few scattered individuals, many of whom seemed like simple passers-by, commuters on their daily routes who barely glanced her way. The grand occasion that was meant to elevate her presence didn't just underperform, it barely registered. Media reports painted a picture of an audience that looked less like an attentive crowd and more like a group impatiently waiting for their bus to arrive. The story repeated itself during Meghan's tour of Australia. Here again, the enthusiasm just wasn't there. Crowds were underwhelming, and the sparkle that usually follows royal visits seemed missing. This backdrop becomes all the more striking when compared with the receptions for the Princess of Wales.
I think this is a case of Harry living in a fantasy. He wants something to be real so badly. He wants to be as important as his brother is, so incredibly bad that I think Harry sort of makes himself crazy over it. He deludes himself so much because he just so desperately wants to be essentially the Prince of Wales. He wants to have that authority. He wants to have that respect that his brother does. But Harry just doesn't seem to understand that unfortunately is not his role in life. And there's nothing in particular wrong with the role of being the spare. You can see it as a blessing, but Harry sees it as a curse, and he sees himself as important or more important than his brother.
On her own international journeys, she was treated like an undeniable superstar, greeted warmly and with genuine excitement at every stop. The world leaned in to listen to her, and this difference, the contrast, was impossible to ignore. While Meghan found it difficult to captivate audiences, struggling to truly engage a room, the Princess of Wales was effortlessly commanding attention, lighting up the globe with her presence. Beneath it all, though, was the most painful truth. Harry took this spotlight with him wherever he went. He stepped away from everything he had ever known. His family, his homeland, the very role he was born to fulfill. And according to many insiders, he made that monumental choice mostly for her. But now, fresh whispers suggest she might be preparing to face the future on her own, quietly and independently, without him by her side. Rumors are swirling that Frogmore Cottage, the grand residence they received and invested an enormous sum into restoring, is being slowly returned to its original state, erasing any signs that they ever called it home.
Wants to be as important as his brother is, so incredibly bad that I think Harry sort of makes himself crazy over it. He deludes himself so much because he just so desperately wants to be essentially the Prince of Wales. He wants to have that authority. He wants to have that respect that his brother does. But Harry just doesn't seem to understand that unfortunately is not his role in life.
It's as if this whole chapter they lived there is being carefully wiped away. To countless observers, this action speaks louder than words ever could. You don't simply wipe away someone's legacy unless that story has truly come to a close. Meanwhile, growing public campaigns are urging that their royal titles be rescinded entirely, painting a clearer and more undeniable picture. Take a step back, and the entire saga boils down to one stark reality. The institution Harry chose to leave behind isn't interested in pretending he's still part of the family or the story. Harry never really walked away. He consciously chose that door and every twist since then, whether the fading public support, the swirling controversies around his charitable activities, or the visible tensions straining his marriage, all seem to orbit back to that pivotal choice. That defining moment set off a chain reaction, the very consequences he was cautioned about now unfolding in real time.
Of being a working royal cannot be separated from the responsibilities of being one. For supporters of Harry, this decision may feel unfair. For critics, it may feel inevitable. But either way, it marks the end of one of the most significant legal battles of his post-royal life. A battle he believed was about protecting his family. A battle the courts believed had already been decided. And now, 5 years after walking away from royal duties, Prince Harry faces perhaps the most uncomfortable reality of all.
The message has become clear. The unique privileges that come with being a working royal are inseparable from the duties it demands. For those who stand by him, this feels like a harsh judgment, an unjust penalty for daring to live on his own terms. Meanwhile, his critics see it as a natural and unavoidable outcome, almost a fate sealed from the start. This revelation closes the chapter on one of the most notable legal battles marking Harry's life after stepping away. A fight he framed as a protective stand for his family, though the courts viewed the matter as already resolved long ago. Now, half a decade removed from royal duties, Harry confronts a stark and unsettling truth. Is this simply the price he's paying for the freedom he chose? Or could this be just the beginning of even greater challenges looming on his path? As the pieces fall into place, the unsettling feeling grows stronger, that the toughest trials may already be right around the corner, awaiting him in the chapters still unwritten. If you found this story compelling, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more captivating insights, and share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you think happens next. Stay tuned, the story is far from over.